What's good, world? Welcome to another episode of Media Legends. Where we talk to the people behind the scenes in the media. And I am extremely honored today to have a man that I would like to say is responsible for a couple of my major interviews that I was privileged enough to get. He just informed me that he is a entertainment publicity is more of the field that he's in. I more of thought of him as a publicist, but entertainment publicity is a phrase that he just gave me that he's in. And without further ado, he got major connections. This man that he's been connected to many major artists in the industry and responsible for getting them out to the media. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Soul G. What's happening, Soul G?
Hey, what's going on? And the term is entertainment publicity.
Entertainment publicity. What did I say?
You said
Something wrong. That's
yeah, something, yeah. So I'm an entertainment publicist.
okay.
So which we conduct entertainment publicity.
Okay. So explain to me what those two phrases may mean. So what's an
So
entertainment?
basically it's basically the same thing, but sometimes people say they use the term publicist and publicity is what we do. So to break it down, to differentiate what field of publicity that you work in, for me, I'm an entertainment publicist. So I do entertainment publicity, for my clients. So if someone is like, a lot of times somebody will come to me and they will want something that's just not what I do. And I'll tell them like, well, that's not my field. Maybe you want to go over here or something like that, because it doesn't, I do anything entertainment, football, acting,
Okay.
music, those things, anything entertainment related. But when it comes outside of that, then that's not really me. If somebody is trying to push their food line, unless somehow they incorporate entertainment, then it ain't really for me.
Oh, okay. I kind of get it. So by the what exactly do you like? I know for me, you used to hook me up with artists and get like interviews and get them out to interviews and so they could showcase their music. What is some other things that you may do?
Well, so as an entertainment publicist, it's our job to promote our clients when they have something new out.
Okay.
So you have the emerging talent who are new and no one really knows them. And, sometimes they may come through by way of a record label. Sometimes they may come through by way of a manager. Um, and if what they have is good, they bring it to us and then we send it out to the masses, as far as the media, making sure people get doing interviews with them, making sure that they're at the right events, making sure they're in the right photos with the right people that, align with what their brand is all about. It's
Right.
enhancing what they already have. Um, for example, I'm going to use him as an example. Do you know Sage the Gemini?
Yes, I know that person. Well, I don't know
So
him, of course, but I know the name.
yeah, so before Sage the Gemini came out, at the time his manager Kenny Lowe had brought him to me, and they had actually they had two records, and he showed me the records, and I was like, oh, this is dope. This is gonna work. I just knew that the project was gonna work, and I knew who I was gonna take it to. I was like, I'm gonna take it to Sway, and then I'm gonna do this, and I knew what to do and what outlets were gonna gravitate and pick it up. And he wasn't with no record label. He had nothing, and I put his bio together, and I put his stuff together, and then I started emailing it out. Sway was the first person to do an interview for me, with Sage the Gemini, and no one knew who Sage was. And then, and this happened within a matter of 3 days. When I tell you Sway interviewed him, that everyone was interviewing him. And then we also had another strategy at that time where, like on social media, somebody danced to your song,
Right.
like a funny dance. We had that happen, that spread, and then others started picking it up and dancing to it, and he was out of here. But that just goes to show that he was a new guy, you know.
Right.
And the same thing with OT Genesis. Of course, I had the help of Busta Rhymes, um, but I showed them, okay, y'all, this is what we need to do to take it to the next level. Busta is Busta Rhymes, so of course he had a lot of help, but I assisted him. And okay, this is what you need to be doing. This is what who you need to be talking to, so we can get it noticeable. And I even included my other clients, like at the time, Ice T and Coco, because the song was called "I'm in Love with the Coco" at that time.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So
that's my joint.
yeah, so we just come up with a lot of different phase plans and a lot of different practices, and we take it to the next level. A celebrity, though, is a little different because they're already well known. So when it comes to the celebrities, most people want to interview them. Most people want
Right.
them on red carpets. You know, whereas the emerging talent, that can be a little difficult.
Right.
When you're trying to get them known, because some people don't want to interview the emerging talent and they don't want them at their events, basically. So it's like that could be like a whoa. It could become stressful because then you get the clients that, oh, I want to go to the BET Awards, but they're not really necessarily at that level to attend the BET Awards. They're just not there yet, unless they got like a song that's just out of this world, because everything is about space and seating and all that stuff too.
Right.
So there's a lot that comes with it with doing entertainment publicity. You got your damage control if something happens with one of your clients, and you kind of jump in and interject in the media so that they're not trashing your client's name. Telling your clients how to respond, telling them when to talk and when not to talk. You have those things. And then, of course, there's the traveling on press days, traveling from New York to Los Angeles, Atlanta. You know, it's a lot that comes with the job. But I personally love what I do. So, it's not really anything for me.
You just gave me a lot of different thoughts just now. So first let's touch back on what you were saying with emerging talent and quote unquote, let's just call them big name talents. I think that's how me and you kind of develop
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of relationship, because I think you saw that I was willing to engage with your emerging talent. So then when the big talent came around, you'd be like, "Yo, I got Ice T. We're doing an event. Yo, you should come through." I think that's a part of the media game that I don't even know if that game is even played today anymore. Like, how do you deal a lot with these new? How is the is it getting interviewed? Because I haven't been or wanted to go out for an interview in a long time.
It's about the relationship that you have with the publicist.
Okay,
So if you and I have a great relationship and you want to interview my client, it depends on timing, because that's one thing. The big talent, their time, like they're looking for the big stuff.
right,
They want to be on Good Morning America. They're paying attention to that stuff. So if you do bring them something which is not on that level, you have to kind of explain to them, well, why they're doing it.
right,
Um, some might say, I don't want to do that. Um, Celebrities, a lot of big names don't like doing interviews. So to convince them to talk to an outlet that's not so big, it could get kind of difficult unless they just cool and they like, and you like, oh, okay, this is my friend, whatever, and then they just do it. But for them, they want it to make sense, you
right,
know. Um, and then the emerging talent, like in the early stages of OT Genesis career, I can be like, oh, OT, I want you to do an interview with such and such and such. I'd be like, oh, okay, because he's still new.
right,
So they're gonna really basically follow your lead versus a celebrity who knows, oh, I want to go on SNL, and I don't want to do that one. I want to do this. Or you have some outlets that may have fronted on a talent, and then when they like Busta right now, he has an album. but let's just say double XL fronted on him. I'm not saying that they did, but I'm just saying when it's time for them, when they want him, he may not want to do an interview with them because they didn't want to interview him when he had really maybe nothing of their importance to
Right.
talk about. So it's just like a lot of like stuff, you know, when it comes to the entertainment game period. I try to stay in my own lane. I don't try to like click up. I don't try to get into anybody's business. I ain't telling none of my clients' business because that can become, you know, crazy, and it
Very
happens.
sticky.
People do that, and I don't want to be in nobody's shade room to talking about this is what you said about your client or something like that. And the thing is that with the celebrities, there's a lot that but you don't share, because it's personal.
Why would a publicist or pub, entertainment publicity person share that type of information? Do they get like a payola, or are they trying to
No,
build?
but there's different types of situations where um that's just their strategy is actually sharing that information. And sometimes that's where the
So they're doing
client
it for
may
the
not,
benefit of their client. Sometimes.
they may think they are, but to the client they're not. There's an example, but I don't want to talk about that because then I'll be in argument with people. But there's a situation where a publicist basically got on a client and was kind of mad at the client, but I disagreed with that person, and I was just like, I wouldn't have let them do that to my client. I wouldn't have let them ambush my client in that way. My job is to protect my client, and I don't care who it is, I'm not gonna let nobody ambush or badger my client. I'm not gonna do it. So let's just say if R. Kelly was my client, I don't care who you are. I'm gonna protect him in a way where I have to,
Right.
and I'm gonna also alert him how to answer certain things so that we're not in a situation where he's defending himself. And if he do got to defend himself, he's saying the right stuff, and
Okay.
understanding. And it's about being a team. It's not like about me telling them what to say. It's about working with them as a team. Anybody that you work with, it's about building that team base so y'all can come together and they can understand. A lot of the newer talent, you'll say, okay, this is what you need to do, right? And they don't get it. They be like, huh? And I'm like, no, but this is how we got to start off and this is what we got to do. But why would we do that? And I'm like, oh my God. And, you like, okay, you know, or even with the known talent, sometimes they are used to doing things different. The talent that I work with, they were famous for a long time. So the way that they're used to doing stuff is different than how we do stuff today, especially with social media. Social media continuously changes and changes publicity also, you
Right.
know, and how we do things. Now, you need your song. If you got a great record, you better get that song on TikTok or somebody dancing to it, if you want it to go viral outside of everything else that you have to do. And then now the record labels caught on, so they're creating strategies of such to where the song can possibly go viral on TikTok or sending it to the TikTok influencers so they could dance to it, to get it known, you know.
So you
But
saying?
basically, all in all, it's about, huh?
No, I was saying. So
Say
you.
that again.
So you said the record labels pretty much caught on. Would you say is that making your job a little bit harder? Are they trying to like phase you guys out, and they're going
No,
like with
no. Every
TikTok, you
well,
go
we help the
directly
record.
to it. With TikTok, you go
Well, we
directly
help
to
the
it.
record labels.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we help them, and if they go directly to them, that's just a part. That's just a part of it. It's not the whole thing. you know you got to still do radio, you still have to do interviews to promote the stuff, but the TikTok and all that stuff just helps the song get known, and if it's a good song or good dance, it's just going to spread faster. Those with those outlets help it to spread faster
Right.
than it normally would, you know had no radio or nobody started dancing to it. Like Bobby Schmurder, he is known because of the dance, not
Right.
necessarily the song.
Exactly. Yeah. Once he
So,
flipped the hat in the air, it was a wrap. And then,
yeah,
yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
yeah.
So let's take me back to the beginning. How did you get involved in this field? Like, what was your involvement? How does one get into your field, or how did you get into your field?
Yeah. So for me, I okay. So I was working in college radio, and
So you started off
people
being a
wanted to.
fan of music, period, and you was like in radio.
Mm-mm. I was in college,
Okay.
so they was trying to get interviews from people. So I was like, oh yeah, we could do it. We could, we could get interviews and stuff like that. And they didn't really believe that we could. So I was like, yeah, we could do it. And so we started reaching out to people um, that was like on TV or something like that. And
So just phone calls or letter, just how?
yeah,
Cause
like a letter, an email.
okay,
I just reached out in an email, sent the request letter, and the people started coming. Um, and me doing so, I met a lady by the name of Allie Roberson, who works with Jamie Hector and Felicia Snoop Pearson. At the time, I met her, and then she and I started working on some things together with her clients, and I did an event for her, publicity wise. Also, let me just back it up. Dana Dane. Um, in the very beginning, he knew that I was doing entertainment publicity, and he knew me since I was a kid.
okay,
So he started introducing me to people, and by me introducing him, he'll be like, "Yo, this is publicist OG McQueen. If you're looking for a publicist, blah 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 blah." Then I was working on projects with him, and at the time, he was doing his book. So we did the campaign for his book that was out. I don't know if you remember that because I think he was around for that, right?
yeah. I was like, yo, so was I there during your beginning? That was like your beginning.
Well, that wasn't the very beginning, but that was like around the time.
Oh, okay,
So,
all right.
so, but so then through him and through Allie Roberson, I started meeting people, and then I met Patty Lauren. Well, you know Patty, and then Patty was doing events and record label events, and she was added me on to her events while she was, facilitating the parties. I was facilitating the media, getting the media going, making sure the red carpet was good, making sure that everybody was getting their interviews. So, it just like one thing led to the next, one event led to the next.
Right.
And then people was like, "Oh wow, like who's that guy that did that event? Who was the publicist on that event?" And then my name started spreading. And then I don't know if you remember when I was working with DJ Webstar.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was working with Webstar, and then he did like events and stuff like that. And then Diddy was attached to that because him and Webstar were friends. And then from there, it was just people just saying, "Oh, I need him to do my event. Oh, I'm looking for a publicist," and just by word of mouth, it kind of spread. Um, then I started working with Ice T and Coco, which was like in 2000 and the late 2007, and I met them, and I started working with them, and from there, it just like kind of took a life of its own. Um, so for me, publicity, I didn't, I wouldn't say that it was, oh, I went to school and I had to learn this. It's kind of, I tried to get hired by publicity firms that wouldn't hire me at first. And then once I started doing it on my own, I just was like, I just took the handle, and I was like, they wanted to hire me, the people. So I was like, oh, okay. And then once, I had a celebrity under my belt, that was it. And
Right.
then I went on television. Once I was on TV, it took another life of its own. But then, more celebrities started coming, to the fact that when other certain celebrities would come, I couldn't take them on because it was a lot I had going on. And I could have hired this team and all that other stuff. But that wasn't where I was at the time, you know. And I had other aspirations and things that I wanted to do. So you know, I didn't necessarily go in that route of trying to have a whole bunch of celebrities, you know. And once your clients get attached to you, they want you. They don't really necessarily want your assistant or someone on your team unless they are there in the very beginning when you meet that person. You know, they'll work with them. But if they know, oh, this is the person who does the job, then they want you, per se. You know, unless they know that the other person is going to give them exactly what they want. You know, and then you have this the talent that, let's just say I'm a model, but now I want to be a rapper. People don't know you for music. So now, even if you're a celebrity that you're trying to transition into music, that's not easy.
Right. Right.
And you know, that doesn't, like, if I go to Double XL and I got an actor who wanted to be a rapper, they must necessarily not want to talk to them. And that becomes, okay, we got to create a strategy to get this going. You know, it's like a whole bunch of different scenarios, but you know,
That's
it's
crazy
a
because
again,
no, oh sorry, that's
no,
crazy. I didn't
no,
realize
no.
that we started around the same time because your demeanor and your professionalism. Because I'm for lack of better term, from the street or whatever, you know. So when I came around you, you seemed like so professional. I swore you was like in the game, like hard body, and you was pretty much like, okay, this is how we doing it. You staying here. You're gonna get this interview at 6:15 is your goal. Be here, be ready. And I was like, oh, you pretty much showed me, okay, this is because I've been to a lot of, for lack of better terms, hood events or whatever, where it's like all over the place. But going to your event, I know, okay,
Mhm.
I gotta be there. Soji said be there at 6 o'clock. It's gonna be rolling at 6 o'clock. Like it's not gonna be no games with that. So you pretty much learned all that on the fly. You're saying,
Yeah, basically, but it was just organization. Like, you know, if you're an organized person, you're gonna just organize it the way that you see it, and so that it's not chaos. Because was you at the was you at the Cuban links with Raekwon?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, we
Did
could.
you now,
I don't even think I
like,
got in.
when we did that album release party?
Yeah, it was like everybody was like, I don't even think I got in. It was like so much people, media people, like outside, like trying to.
Yeah,
I might have got in like towards the end or something. Maybe you
but it
pulled me
was
or something.
hard to facilitate that. But
Yeah,
everybody wanted to be there, and every media person wanted to get interviews. Um, at that event, and that was very, very interesting. But you know, I managed along with my team to make it happen, and with the best of our ability, to where the client was happy. You know, certain people probably didn't get to get certain names, you know, from that event, because you know everybody came out for that. As far as the rappers, um, came out for that, but you know, they understood. And for me, I always try to make up to my media people. Like,
yeah, that's true.
if you didn't get something that you wanted, I'm gonna say, okay, I'm gonna try to set something up so where it's just you and them, you know. So somehow, you know, we always kind of work it out. So some publicists, like somebody like yourself, they wouldn't even consider you media.
Right.
So they wouldn't even they'll treat you funny. And not only you, if it could be Ebony, it could be maybe not Essence, but it could be the Source. They don't see those outlets as media. So we have to, or sister to sister. One time, you know, I was working with Tyra Banks, and you know, they was bringing in certain people. So I was like, oh no, she has to talk to sister. But somebody else on her team was like, oh no, no, we have to keep going. So I looked at Tyra and I was like, they don't want you to talk to sister to sister. And she was like, no, I have to talk to them, because she understands African American media, to where other people, they don't understand African American media. So she stopped and she did the interview, and then she stopped and she was like, please listen to him. Like, if he wants me to talk to somebody, yeah, I'll have to make sure that I talk to them, because they didn't necessarily get a sister to sister magazine, and why should she stop for them? But Tyra did.
Right.
And sometimes our people have to do that, and you'll see that a lot on the red carpet, where like maybe it's Taraji P or one of them who will recognize us and be like, oh no, I got to talk to them, to where their publicists may not be so familiar with this outlet, So, a lot of the new people, my thing was, I don't know who JP gonna be in years to come. So of course I'm gonna want JP to do my interview with my clients, because once he start working for NBC, he's gonna always look out for me.
Oh,
When I come to him,
smart thinking,
we
smart thinking.
all, yeah, and then we all have a beginning. I know I had a beginning, and it was hard for me. Everybody wasn't so nice to me. So, and I didn't understand that at all. Like, I was just like, well, dang, these people is kind of mean sometimes. But again, that's where I said, let me separate myself. I don't want to get into cliquish, or this said that, or this person said this about this publicist. My thing is, I'm still me trying to get my clients into an event that they probably felt like my client shouldn't be. And I'm talking about celebrities. And then I forced my way through with my celebrity clients to get an event. And then you got the other publicists like, why did you do that? What the fuck am I supposed to tell my clients, that they can't go? They're gonna find somebody else who could get them in the event.
Right.
But stuff like that happens, and then now the other publicists don't want to speak to you, but maybe their type of event was supposed to be for certain people. It's like so crazy, like, and like how they do the A list and then the B list and all this kind of stuff, or who they want and who they don't want. It's a lot of that goes on, and it's a lot of funniness going on, and you have to like kind of like maneuver around it you know
So is
but
that
I've learned the game, and it's cool now. Not it's nothing. But at the end of the day, it's all about your relationships. Like how you were able to reach out to me. It's about the relationships that you have with other people, and those relationships will take you into things that you might want to do, or get you invited to certain places because such and such. You know. Yeah, but the publicity game is all about relationships. And sometimes we get mixed up with managers because of the things that we do. Some people be like, "Are you the manager or are you the publicist?" You know, so
so is that a real thing? Is A list, B list? Is that a literal thing? Like, do they really have like a list that would be like, okay, these are A people and
no,
oh, okay,
no, but that exists. But
right.
they don't. We may write it, but who's A list and who's B list.
But your
And
clients are
then
mostly, I know you have mostly A-list clients, I would say.
yeah, I would say, um, but it depends on to who. But yeah, most of mine are. But it depends on where they at and who amongst who, because you have the industry like television industry. Ice T is in television industry. Law and Order, that's a big show, a very big show.
Right,
To where his level of where he is, his wife Coco is not on. Not that she's not on the same level, but they're married, so that's a different type of thing when you start branding them together.
right.
But necessarily it may not the stuff that she'll do may not necessarily always be what Ice does. And the same thing with Ice T and Busta Rhymes. Just because somebody want to sit down and talk to Ice T, they may not necessarily want to talk to Busta Rhymes. Saturday Night Live may want Ice T, but they may not want Busta. Not saying that that's an actual thing, but I'm just saying, you know, and that's where that list stuff comes in. But it's by industry.
Mm,
Because of course in music, Busta is just everybody in music is gonna want to talk to a Busta Rhymes, of course.
mm.
But um, they may not in a different kind of industry,
Like in the film
especially
world.
sports. Sports is completely different, but you just never know. Then you have Lil Kim where, um, well, she's crossed over so many barriers. When she does do press, most people want to talk to her still.
Right.
So, it's just it's kind of different, but um like it's like a lot of little different things, especially too when like your clients like such as Busta Rhymes and Little Kim, when they're not reinventing themselves, but more so coming out in a time of today to where they're used to something different. Um, it's just basically about them making sure that they get what they want and understanding how to get that. Because it could be weird. And I don't know if you ever heard a person say, "Oh, they got a machine behind them," or the machine is the record label.
Right.
The record label is making sure that certain things is happening. They're giving the extra big push, but behind everything else. That's where strategizing comes into play. Because if you know how to strategize and you got great product, it's out of here. Like if you got a great, if you give me something and I know, oh, this is about to go, I'm gonna take it and take it all the way to the top. You know, to where I know, oh, they are gonna be known. And I only can say that because I've done it. Before. So,
What was your
if
best
I
strategy you think you came up with it? Like, what was the strategy you came up with and that you hit it out the park and you was like, yo, that was dope.
but you know what? I started paying attention to social media. So when, like I was telling you, like with the whole Sage the Gemini thing, the record labels at the time didn't know that artists was blowing up by way of other people dancing to their records. They didn't. The record labels wasn't privy to that as of yet. And me, by paying attention to social media, being on Twitter and all that stuff, I'm like, oh shit, this is how this is coming about because people are dancing. This is what they're doing. It's no longer like the way like back in the days how certain things would come about. So once I seen that that's how it was going, I started to introduce it to what I was doing. I got in touch with the people who is managing these social media lights and using them for what I needed. I was able to see it before a lot of other people. And yeah, I give credit to that. And even now, like you got to pay attention to what's going on because that's how it works, on a lot of stuff.
What did you
And
think about that transition from like more? Because I would say I kind of missed the initial. Because when YouTube, I was fortunate enough to start a YouTube channel when it first
mhm.
YouTube first came out, but I didn't capitalize on it right away. I was still with the DVDs and the TV show and doing more of the traditional media. So now that YouTube is like further along, I'm trying to play catch up a little bit. Did you see that initial swing right away? Like, oh, this is kind of going away from the initial media and like it's more about social media now.
Yeah, yeah. You recognize that because you see where everybody is going. So you recognize that it's just about, again, knowing your audience. And if you could build your audience from a YouTube show or a podcast, great promotion and all those things, it could go far. Again, promotion means everything. Maybe who you have on your show, or maybe um, if people is talking about it, they find it interesting. It's just the same like watching a television show. You
Right.
know, um, unfortunately, especially now, everybody is celebrity driven. So, people watch stuff that they feel like their favorite star is going to come to when it comes to numbers. And then you got some people who are just popular.
Right.
Like some people are just real popular or real good, and people want to hear what they got to say. And, I've seen those people like, they got some interesting stuff to talk about, and people watch them, and people go back and forth to their television channel, their YouTube channels. Like it's this one girl, one of my friends told me about her YouTube show or whatever she has. So I'm like, who is this? So I then start watching her, and I'm like, oh, she got something. Like she was funny. But she's not no celebrity. Now, next thing you know, you got other celebrity shows interviewing her because she's interested. So now she's taking off.
What's the show? Give her a plug. What's
No,
the show?
her name is Queen Op. She's from Philly.
Queen Op?
So yeah, her name is Queen Op, but she's a troll. So she trolls people online.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, these kids like it. And then they go on there, they disrespect her, and she goes back and forth with them, but they love this girl. To whereas on her Instagram, she has 67,000 followers. So for somebody that's a nobody, not saying it like that, but for someone who people don't know that's from Philly to be able to get on social media and have 67,000 followers and people be tuned in to her every word. It's just like that's a gift.
Yeah.
And saying that to say, if you got it, you got it. If people want to hear what you're talking about, or you got to know your audience, because I don't care how new you are. If you got what people want to talk about, and people support you, they're gonna watch your stuff.
Now, do you see the lines also blurring with, like you said, of course she's a somebody, but I understood what you meant by she's a nobody. But I think like the days of the quote unquote like megastar, like the Michael Jackson and those type of days is kind of over
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
kind
I
of
agree.
have to be known.
Social media has taken over. Like the social media stars are the new Michael Jacksons.
Right.
They are the new people that come in and take over. It's true.
Because you could be a big
Just
star
think
like
about
that.
all the comedians. The comedians of today are social media comedians, and then you have like the Kevin Hart's or maybe the I forget his name, but they be talking about stuff like that.
Right.
Like there is not the same. The social media comedians came up in a different way from the quote unquote original comedian.
Right.
You know, so but social media is basically the way. That's how stuff get known. It take one little thing and you known on social media, and then you're famous. And if you grab it the right way and do the right thing, then you could really take it somewhere. Even like reality stars. Just because you're on reality TV, that doesn't mean that you're gonna be famous for forever. It depends on what you do with it and how you brand yourself.
Yeah, like Cardi.
And like when we were talking about earlier, talent that um necessarily may not get interviews. Reality stars, some people may not want to talk to them unless they're really popular. Like a Cardi B. Now, when Cardi, but in her beginning, it wasn't like that for her. You know, and she had to build to that point. And once she did, it was just like, oh, she's out of here. But yeah, social media is definitely the wave, though, and how most people get known. It's just knowing what to do with it once they're at that place.
So do artists nowadays even feel like they have to do interviews? Because I see like a lot of artists, they'll just like jump on their Instagram or they'll even interview each other. Because I feel like their audience, it kind of makes it tougher for an outlet like myself to like even get to a major artist because they could just jump on their Instagram and and reach
Well, yeah and no, because uh, artists are never going to give up mainstream media. They just not. They can't. The mainstream is going to take them to where they really want. Now, you got like Fat Joe and um, Nori and all of them with these shows. And, their shows get picked up because they're popular. Um, and then, people want to put a check behind them, but that's just because they have fans. It makes it harder for someone like yourself, but again, it's all about your relationships, because if you know somebody and they can persuade their clients to talk to you and you get that interview, it takes one time, and then next thing you know, oh, now in your media kit you could say, oh well, I interviewed Lil Kim. I'm just using that as an
Right, right,
example,
right,
but um, and then somebody will be like, oh okay, they want to see your interview with that person because another thing is people don't want to just interview with anybody. They want to see what you've done and what you talk about. Once they see that, oh okay, this person is creditable, they'll be like, oh, okay, I'll do it, And like if you build your own relationships, like how when we used to do red carpet events, and let's just say you see Buster on the red carpet, and you're like, hey, what's up, Buster? And then after a while, when you always see him out and you speak to him and he get to know you, you could go directly to him and be like, yo, can I get an interview? Oh yeah, I'm gonna set you up with Soul G because you done built your own relationship with him. Again, it's all about relationships, basically. But again, the known people have it a little easier than
right.
someone who's new. You know,
Because the artist wants that connection. They need that
yeah.
exposure.
Now the celebrity to celebrity thing, they feel safe with talking to their peers versus talking to somebody that they don't know or who they think may ambush them, like give them a Wendy Williams type thing. You
Right.
know, but they feel safe talking to their peers.
So was it difficult for you to transition some of your artists from the typical trend media into this social media era? Like, did they get it right away, or were they like, nah, we
In the beginning, certain people was just like, huh? Because people change is hard for certain people.
right,
So it was more so like, what? I gotta do what? I gotta get on where? And I was like, well, yeah, this is what's happening. This is what's the new thing, and this is what people are doing, and this is where everybody is at,
right,
and this is how you're engaging fans now. For one, it was Twitter. Well, one, it was MySpace. I don't know if you remember MySpace.
yeah, of course,
And MySpace, and then I went from MySpace to Facebook, then Facebook to Twitter. But all those things mattered on how artists promoted.
right. What
You
do you think
know,
is next? Do you see I see what's this app? Clubhouse. I see that's kind of on the radar right now.
yeah, everybody is kind of talking about that. But the only thing is that they talk on there. That's it. You don't see anybody. Um,
So you think
I
the
mean, I
visual is
guess,
also important?
huh?
You think the visual is also important? Like
Yeah,
people,
visuals are definitely important because the people want to see
right?
most. And then they was making fun of it, talk about how people get up there and they get on a stage, because I heard they have like a stage, and they talk about themselves, and it's like basically you talking about yourself to promote yourself. And
Right.
then they was making fun of it, like, okay, I'm gonna get up here, I'm here, this girl, and she gonna tell me all this stuff that she do, and that I guess it's supposed to be a networking thing.
Mhm.
But I don't know. I really, at this point, I don't see, like, I don't see the importance of it. You know. Now, if it was a video component to that, and it was done right, I think that would work. But just listening to people talk,
Yeah, I'm
you
not.
know, I mean, and I guess so. And they say that they try to do it like where, let's just say, if you was having like a forum and you wanted people to talk, and you got somebody like Kevin Hart to talk in your forum, then I guess that will work because people will want to hear for somebody like that. But then that turns into you having to book them to do stuff like that, because they do get paid to do that. But it's really a networking platform, a different platform. But for me, I necessarily, you know, not like, oh wow, I need to be on there. Another thing is too, um, I'm at a level where I could pick up the phone and reach somebody if I need to, you know?
Right.
Um, and thank God for that. But if I want to reach somebody, I have that leverage, so I could pick up the phone versus, or I could send an email versus needing to be, in a forum to get to know someone. You know, it's a little different, but again, like, I thank God for that, because I've met people out and about with my clients, and
Right.
these are some big people. So, by me working with my clients and then us working with them on different projects, now I'm just saying, like, let's just say the CEO of Netflix, now he and I got a rapport, and, you never know how I could use this person or how they would want to utilize me, you
Exactly.
know? To whereas,
Can't be used or useless.
right. So, you know,
What would you
um,
say is the biggest media outlet that there is, like that they get, like you try to direct most of your clients to, like, yo, once you get here, you pretty much touch it. Does that even exist anymore? Because I would say, like, back in the
no,
days,
but
like how we had Barbara Walters or Oprah, like, oh, once you get on Oprah or
of course,
Barbara Walters,
right, of
you
course.
straight.
Like, well, I mean, you got a lot of media outlets that are big, but then you do have the Oprahs. We don't have Oprah no more, but that people want to definitely talk to her. Or again, Saturday Night Live.
Hmm.
People want to do that show. Good Morning America.
Mm,
People, that's a big show. People want to do those shows. Those are mainstream big shows.
right.
Um, but then again, that's hair. You have There's a whole big world. So, you have international press to where the BBC and all that over there, which they have big outlets. So it don't just stop over here in the US where we're at, you
Oh,
know?
that's true. Part of my ignorance, my American arrogance and ignorance, because I didn't even really think about. You're also responsible for that too, right?
Yeah.
You connected
Yeah.
out the
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
Dope,
Yeah.
dope, dope, dope. Yeah, that's very true. I never
Yeah.
really.
You got to make sure that your talent, especially as the bigger they are promoted, and then depending on what they're doing, that everybody knows about it. And then you got this thing where now, um the shade room, if somebody gets on that shade room, it's a big deal.
Really?
You- yeah.
I don't, because it goes back to what I was saying before. It's like right now, I feel like you could be in your own world so much you're not even following what's going on. Because like the shade room, of course, I heard about it, I know about it, but I can't even say I never really been on the shade room. I know what it is, but I never personally been on it. Like for me, like my big outlet would probably be something like the Breakfast Club. Like somebody's on the Breakfast Club.
and that is an outlet. That's an outlet. That is a big outlet, and most talent want to go to the Breakfast Club. But guess what? If you are a rapper or if you are J Lo, no, wrong person. I'm trying to think of a name. Well, the Breakfast Club is big, so a lot of artists, their publicists are gonna put them on that show because they know it's big. But certain people don't know who the Breakfast Club is. They like, oh no, they don't care for that, and
Like a
that's
Patty
where
LaBelle, or I remember Patty LaBelle when she had went on there. She was like, "Oh, this is a nice little show, okay." But like her publicist finally got her on there, but she didn't really know who they were at
right,
the moment.
right, right, or somebody real big may not know
Right.
who they are, um, and don't care to do them. But for other people that need the publicity, they definitely care, you know. Or if you got something coming out, because publicity is money, basically. At the end of the day, you're selling your product. So how many eyeballs and listeners that's on you at the time is selling your product. It's people are buying into what you're talking about on that outlet. So if everybody is listening to the morning radio show and you're talking and you're promoting, you just sold what you know you just sold your product basically.
So you
And
think
outlets such as the shade room, just being on there, well, it depends on what they're talking about because that could be very gossipy and TMZ-ish, but you know people want their stuff to be seen or people want to be known.
right? So is TMZ and Shade Room, are they different, or they're along the same
Well,
lines?
they're different because TMZ is a really huge outlet, and TMZ is television. They have a whole big force TV behind them. That's TV. Although their online presence is great as well. The shade room for right now, as I know, is online, but they got 23 million followers.
Mm,
So
that's crazy.
you got 23 million followers. Tuh,
Yeah,
that's a lot.
he
And
killing
people want to
it.
be artists are dying to get their songs on the Shade Room.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, so you know,
Yeah,
it's like it's a difference in every little thing, you know.
it's crazy.
But
So, what do you think of somebody like academics? Where do you know who DJ Academics is?
uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah, a platform like his, compared to because I would think now that you're putting a lot of things in perspective for me. Now that I'm thinking about it, because the world that I guess I'm following, like academics would be major, right? But
Hmm.
I don't think he has nowhere near 23 million. I know he doesn't have nowhere near 23 million followers. So it's like it's
But his
crazy.
network, because if I'm correct, academics, he's under the Complex Network, right?
Not anymore. He was, but now he's
Oh, he,
they disabandoned that show. So now he's
oh,
back solo.
oh, just doing it on his own.
Right.
Oh, well, again, he gonna have to have a network pick him up because he was known because he was on a Complex Network, and they liked his personality. So that's why they hired him. Um, and the Complex Network is a big network,
Right.
so that's what was supporting what he does. That was promoting his show. Um, he got a name now, so he got following.
Hmm.
So people probably he built his audience, but at the end of the day, he's gonna want a back end behind him because he got to get paid.
Right.
Complex was paying him. At the end of the day, he needs somebody to say, "Oh, I want academics. I want to buy into that," so he can get paid, basically. Unless some advertisers is sponsoring his show on their own, and he's getting paid that way.
So that's another thing. So there's a difference between a brand and a personality. So if you have a brand like a Good Morning America, that's a brand that it don't really matter who's on the host on Good Morning America, but that brand, once you're on Good Morning America, you're like, okay, I'm good. So,
Right,
it could be JP hosting for the day, but it don't really matter because you're on Good Morning America. But
right.
exposed to Barbara Walters or Oprah, their names.
No, but it's so funny that you say that because if you know that there's a certain personality that everybody know on Good Morning America, you might say, "Oh, I want to interview with such and such and such," but for whatever reason, that person is not available, so you have to go with this one. Because it's Good Morning America, they're not going to be upset, but it's like, "Oh, I wish I could have did my interview with such and such," but I'm okay with that. Or like Wendy Williams, right?
Mhm.
Some people get the couch, and then some people get that table. Most of them want to sit down and talk to Wendy. It's more publicity. If they get the table, they probably not going to be talking to her for nothing more than 4 minutes, and
Uh,
it's a short interview.
right,
You know,
right,
so it's different. People try to get the best of whatever they can.
right. The most out of it, the most out of.
Yeah.
What's your top five media outlets like you like to watch? And it could be for all time. You could take it back to from the
My
beginning.
top five outlets that I like to watch.
Hmm.
Um, I like CNN. Um,
You heard about the craziness going on today?
yeah. Uh huh. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah. Um, of course, I like Essence. Um, again, I love BET. Um, um, I like things that's gonna encourage the growth of my people, and so I will gravitate, for me personally, towards that. Um, but again, I love Channel 11. I like Good Morning America. Um, I like them all.
So
I
more
mean,
more
but
news, more
I,
news orientated.
yeah. No, but I do love my music publications too. Um, I love those outlets, The Source, Double XL. I like the Fader. I like Rolling Stone. I like Rolling Out. It's like, to someone to where Rolling Out may not be so big. I like Rolling Out, you know? And
Mm.
again, well, for me, it's different because these people at a time where somebody probably didn't want to interview my client, they came through and they did it. And Rolling Out is a good outlet. And just think, like, I used to love Vibe magazine. Oh my
Oh, wow.
gosh. I don't know if you remember before the change. Vibe magazine was the shit.
Yeah,
Like
for
if
sure.
you was in Vibe, you was big.
Yeah, definitely.
And as far as music goes, and then there was a shift, there was a change, the editors changed, the people changed, and it was different. Vibe is not the Vibe that we used to know, but I used to love Vibe magazine.
I used to love their events. If you got into a vibe event,
Yes.
it
Yes.
was like,
Oh
yo,
my gosh. They had great events.
yeah.
And it's not necessarily like that anymore at all.
So speaking of
So
events, Dana Dane, you said was your first event,
no, but he
your
was
first major artist event,
kind of. Yeah. Yeah.
and
I believe so.
was Raekwon the Cuban Links? Would you consider that your most chaotic event?
Kind of, yeah. Because there was a lot going on that day. Woo boy. It was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot. people some people want to fight me.
Oh, really? Why? Over
Yeah.
not getting in, or just a whole?
Yeah. And then Redman had to jump to my defense.
Oh, wow, wow. Was that at the door? Because I think
Because
if I remember
somebody
that.
wanted to do an interview. It was trying to do like so many, and I was trying to push them through. You know how that goes. So I was like, no, come on, come on. And somebody got real disrespectful. And I was like, look, you have to wait and blah, 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 blah. And the guy said something. And Redman was like, yo, who you talking to like that? To the guy. So he like, huh? He like, who you talking to like that? So the guy, I can't remember who he was at the time, was like, oh, I just wanted to do my interview. He like, you ain't getting no interview. Get out of here. Like, I was just like, oh. Like, but he seen that the guy disrespected me and he seen how it was done and he didn't like that. Like, you don't, he must have felt like, nah, you don't do that. You don't talk to nobody like that.
Right.
And it's so funny because I got a picture of it
How'd you get a
of
picture?
me stopping him. Somebody took the picture, and then
Oh,
one of the photographers, and they sent it. But I guess you would have to know what's going on. I know what's going on, but I was like, oh wow, But you see him like he's upset talking to the person, like, yo, don't you ever do that, and blah 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 blah. But people are like that. My clients are very protective over me when it comes to certain things, But in the media too, you got to protect them because some media people can be whoa, even to the big people.
they could be going back to something that you were saying. It kind of surprised me when you said you didn't know that. Were you totally oblivious to how the because you said that people were mean and you weren't really expecting it. That did you not know, like, have an understanding of the entertainment world, or?
No, I wasn't okay. I mean, everybody got mean people and stuff like that. But me, I'm a really nice person. I'm really like I can be nice unless I have a reason not to be. And so with that, me being nice, when you don't know that somebody is hating on you and you trying to be nice and then they're being mean, you like, oh wow. Like in my beginnings, you got other celebrity publicists who is not that nice. And because they don't know you, they probably want to feel like they could treat you mean or you're nobody. Who is this? Who is this person and where he come from? I got a lot of that.
So there's a lot of
I,
backstabbing going on.
Not even a backstabbing. It just was they just didn't accept me. I didn't come from maybe a record label, which I don't. I don't come from a record label, but because of that, Again, I wasn't clicking with those publicists because they didn't know who I was. You know, after a while, of course, like once I started working with more and more celebrities, I had to be out there. So they began to get to know me. But in the beginning, they wasn't that friendly. Or, I used to work with Chrisette Michelle. You know that, right?
Yeah, I think I got an interview
So
with her because of you, maybe because I see she's somewhere in my reel, I believe.
so um now somebody from Def Jam that worked with her before me necessarily knew her before me. So when I started working with her, then they had to come around me. Um, it was just like, who is this guy? And if they didn't know me, or if they was used to being like their main publicist through the record label, and then her management team came on and hired me to do some work, it was just like this publicist is now being funny to me because they're used to being her main PR person. And then the shade starts. And at first, I was like, I'm a person that I could work with anybody. If you are cool and we could come together and make it bigger, I'm down because everybody wins. So I'm always good for new people, somebody that know what they're doing. I'm not one of them people that is gonna hate. Oh, you know how to do it? Let's go. That's me. But everybody is not like that. And when I realized that, it was just like, whoa. And even some celebrities is mean as hell too. You have to get used to that,
Right.
you know. Um, but I had to get used to it. I was just like, whoa, because, whoo, boy, oh boy, it goes there.
Give me something about what it takes to throw a key event. Like, what's some key event planning that you might not giving away all your secrets, but some tips you might want to give somebody.
Well, throwing a key event is the who, what, when, where. You know who who's going to be involved, where it's going to take place at, who's the host, um, because events are sponsored, and when you're doing an event you want to get sponsors involved. So most times sponsors and people want to be involved with things that they know everybody's going to see, like they want numbers and all that kind of stuff. So um or if they are going to be on a major television network, they're going to come in and they're going to sponsor and give some dollars. So it's about who's going to be at your event that's making it so hot. So it's all about presentation. Like when Rihanna throws her diamond ball, you know, everybody wants to be there, but it's just about the setup, where it's taking place at. It's very upscale, you know, just not anybody is walking in there, and you can't be dressed anyway, you know. Um, from the decor to the utensils, all that stuff, people is paying attention to that, you know. Um, and the who's in the building, who was out, who attended, what's going to get the people talking, um makes a great event. um and planning, if you want to have a great event, you got to give yourself time. Sometimes people come and they do events on a whim, and it turns out it's cool and you're lucky. But if you got time to plan and really get your stuff together, you'll be okay. um because you got time to plan it out and say, this is what I want, this is what I want here, this is dope. Nobody wants their event to be like nobody else's event. So, you got to think about being different. Well, that's what the client like, you know? Um, and then for me, a successful event is getting the right media there, making sure like the right photographers is there, the right video people are there. Johnny Nunez, we need him in the building, because we know with Johnny, we gonna get Getty and Wire, and Getty and Wire goes all over the place, you know. So all those things matter. Having the right photographers in the building and everything, you know.
Dope, dope, dope. All right, before I'm about to let you get out of here. Enjoy your evening. I don't think. Give me a list of the rundown of your artists, like of your clients. Like who are some of your clients? I didn't even ask you.
I'm gonna just give you my top three. Is well, four: Ice T and Coco, Busta Rhymes, and Lil Kim. And then, of course, I've worked with a lot of other talent, but those are just the top four.
Okay. Will some of them get offended that you didn't put them? But we all know what it is. Like we can't deny who's who.
I
Like
will hope not, but I just said the top because okay, and let me explain. I work with those people every single day till today, every single day.
right.
So every day I'm doing Lil Kim business, I'm doing Ice T and Coco business, I'm doing Busta Rhymes business. There's other people that I jump in and out,
Okay.
into publicity, but every day those people, I'm working with them every single day.
Oh, okay.
So
I did, and that's why you said it's more than a publicist. You kind of like a managerial. You know,
sometimes, yeah, you get the managerial stuff, and yeah,
so
but I love it. I love it. I mean, even you know, it'd be some tough times, but I love it, and I learn a lot. I learn a lot from my clients too. I learn a lot from my clients.
all right.
They taught me a lot because they've been in this industry for a long time. So there's a lot of stuff that I learned from Busta Rhymes, and there's a lot of stuff I learned from Ice T. Well, Ice T is, whew, oh, he's like a beacon of oh shucks. I'm sorry because he has an interview at 8 o'clock, so I got to make sure that he got what he needs. You see,
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt. No doubt.
but
Well, I thank
you
you
know,
so.
I've learned a
Sorry.
lot from him and a lot of my clients.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you go. I thank you so much for being on the podcast. You want to get the people your handles or where they could reach you at,
Uh,
or does it?
uh
Or they don't need to reach you. It don't matter.
yeah, just Soul G. Just email me.
All
Just
right.
email me, Soul G. You'll find me.
All right. Dope. Thank you so much for being on Media Legends, Soul G.
Thanks for
Look forward-
having me.
All right. Look forward to seeing you again, man.